It is the Happy Camper Radio Show, episode 245. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper, and no question about it, my friends. Hang around with us long enough. We will make a happy camper out of you. Pinball Daniel.
Hey,
he's
here I
back
am.
here on the show with us. Yeah, okay. Did you bring a pinball game with you? Did you
No.
roll it in the studio? I would love to see
Not
it.
yet. I'd love to have a pinball machine.
Well, anyway, we're going to be talking about games today.
Aha!
Yeah, board games, video games, movies, DVDs, things like that. Things to keep you entertained when the weather is ugly.
Yeah.
All about that today on this edition of Happy Camper Radio Show. I know you're going to enjoy it. Definitely stick around for it.
Happy Camper Radio.
And you can find the Happy Camper Radio Show just about anywhere you go. Out on the road, at home, at the office, and especially at the campground. You can find us in the iTunes Store. We're on Podbean, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, YouTube Music, Spotify, Amazon Music, Audible, and now on Odyssey, Samsung, and Player FM. If you're into the podcast world, all those major podcast directories, you can find Happy Camper Radio. We're also on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at www.happycamperradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and if you want to see Daniel and I in the studio, check out our YouTube channel. Look for the little red button there with the pup tent in it. Yeah, just click on that, and you can become a subscriber. You'll find out anytime that we have a new show coming up. Can you believe, Daniel, it's been almost 10 years since we were doing the Happy Camper Radio Show?
Gosh.
We've
Wow.
come a long way.
Oh, boy.
Oh, my. Yeah,
I
from
feel
back
old.
from back in the days. You know, and I'm going to have to share some of those videos, too, that
Yeah.
we shot. It was just old iPhone videos, and this is back
Yep.
before we had any of this fancy stuff.
And I had a quilt over my head for the sound because we were in that corner.
We
It
could
was
go
very-
into the story about the quilts, but
Oh,
we're not
boy.
going to do that right now. Yeah, but you know, we had an echo problem. We had soundproofing problems. We had all kind of problems back then. Of course, you know, just about every podcaster goes through that. You know,
Yep.
somebody who wants to get out there, and today there's some very successful podcasts. Okay, whether or not they have this kind of a studio setup, I don't know, but you know, it's nice to have this, but it's also nice to have an audience that follows you.
Yes,
Okay?
sir.
And we got to tip our hats to all of our Happy Camper Radio listeners and viewers
Absolutely.
that have been with us all this time. But it's a great way to really get on board. And if you're into camping and you want to have camping in your blood all the time, and you want to get excited about the next camping trip that you're going on,
Yep.
hey, listen to Daniel and I doing Happy Camper Radio. Daniel, look at the new edition we have here in the
Aha!
studio.
What is that?
Yeah, that was the gift that you brought me last
was.
week. What, Mr. Swanson?
Yep.
Now, will the real Ron Swanson please stand up?
It's like sing double.
But, you know, the thing is, and like I says, I have problems seeing the resemblance. A lot of
Okay.
people like yourself, yeah,
Yep.
you can see it. But one thing that we do have in common, we always have a cup of coffee in our hands.
There you go.
Yeah, and very opinionated, too.
Yes, sir.
But anyway, Daniel, on today's show, I want to talk about the importance, especially if you've got young kids. We know that they've got ants in their pants.
Yes,
They
do.
cannot sit still.
No,
We
they-
were that way at one time.
I was very like that.
All right, you still are, I'm sure. Where
I
I just
am.
pretty much want to
I
sit
am very
around
much
these
like
days at my old age.
Yep.
But you've got to keep the kids busy. Now, fortunately, this is not one of those weeks that I'm camping, and it's a good thing because it has been raining,
Ugh,
constantly
so much.
raining. And you're out there working in this mess.
Yes, it's a mess.
Right? And we could be camping in this mess.
Yeah.
And it's not a good thing. But, you know, one of the things, and I've talked about this on the show before, and it's real important, that you want to take in all the outdoor activity and the activities in the area that you're camping in. Get as much of that in as you possibly can. You know, the TV set that's inside your RV, and I've got one.
Yep.
I've got that beautiful Roku TV. I've got them here at the house.
Yep.
All right, but I am not going to sit in there and watch TV on a nice day when I could be outside by the lake. I could be sitting out here with Sadie. I could be drinking my coffee. I could be taking hikes. I could take her for a walk.
Yep.
I could be meeting a lot of wonderful people in the campground, which I do anyway.
Yep.
Okay, but you know, the TV sets, the entertainment is really pretty much, in my opinion, reserved for days like the days we've been having this week.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, I've got to say this, and I was real excited about this, Danny, and I thought about this after the fact. In our last episode, we had a great Thanksgiving dinner at your
Yep.
place, and thank your mom again for inviting me over.
Yeah,
That
absolutely. It was fun to have you.
it was, and I got to meet your sister and her boyfriend
Yep.
there, and we had a great meal.
Yeah.
And one of the things I noticed that your family does that my family never has done is right after dinner, you bring out the board games.
Oh, yeah. My
And-
mom loves it.
Wow. And, and I really didn't know how to act. And I didn't
I know.
say
I was
anything.
surprised that you stayed. I was like, I wonder if he's going to leave.
Oh.
He's not used to this. I was
And
like,
no, I'm not used to that,
Yeah.
Daniel. And here's the funny thing, and we talked about this at breakfast this
Yeah.
morning. We had a great Waffle House breakfast.
yes,
And I
sir.
tell you, if it's not camping and eating breakfast at the campsite,
Yep.
Waffle House is the next best thing.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
I love it.
Where we get up in the morning and go into a Waffle House, you order a fantastic breakfast. I order my double cheeseburger plate.
We don't
with
even need a
double
menu.
order of hash browns.
For people like us in
And
Georgia.
no onions.
Yeah,
All right.
I
yeah.
know.
But yeah, we had a great breakfast there. And like I was talking to you, and I don't think you even realize this, but I have not played a board game in decades.
Yeah, you were telling me that.
I think I was a teenager, maybe when I
Wow.
last played a board game. So, I just really didn't know how to act when we were sitting there
You did good.
at the Thanksgiving table.
Yeah,
And it seemed like a simple game, and it was a lot of fun.
yeah.
All right. But being just by myself now, and just me and Sadie out there camping, I don't have anybody to play with as
Yeah.
far as, the board games go.
Yep.
But, yeah, I had a lot of fun, and I think we played maybe 5 or 6 rounds. What was that game we played?
Ooh, I don't remember.
It was something, where we had to put a name down on a card or
Yeah.
and
I wish you would have asked me this before the episode.
give you time to think about. Well, anyway, Daniel, regardless, I mean, it was a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And this is something that I really think that everybody who goes camping, whether you're in a tent, whether you're in a motorhome or an RV or fifth wheel, you should bring some games. You should bring some activities along with you. Okay, because you never know when Mother Nature is going to dump her worst on you.
Oh, yeah.
And you're going to be stuck inside your RV or your tent or wherever. Maybe there's, you're at one of these campgrounds, maybe like a KOA that has a recreation center
Yeah.
with a lot of games where, a lot of people can gather and you can sit there and drink soft drinks and coffee and look at the rain outside and have a good conversation.
Yep.
Not all campgrounds have those luxuries. All right. But, and sometimes, Daniel, we don't even know where we are at. Like, take, for example, when I was up in South Carolina,
Yeah.
I was about 7 or 8 miles away from anything.
Yeah.
So it's not going to be like I can go ahead and get inside my truck and drive on off to someplace and maybe look for some activities, maybe go to a movie or something. And, of course, I've got Sadie with me, so that's another concern. All right. But you got to do something to keep yourself entertained and keep yourself busy.
Yep.
And I really think that's important now, more so than ever now that I had the opportunity to play that game, whatever it was. And I was really excited about that.
We're going to have to
Daniel.
put the name of the game in post. I'm going to have to look it up when the episode's over.
Yeah, okay, or just definitely, yeah. Well, let me know so I can
I
put it
will.
up on Facebook because we've got a lot of great Facebook followers, and I like posting some things on Facebook. But if you're not going to be able to get yourself situated with board games, oftentimes if you've got an RV or you've got something situation where you do have a TV set, Daniel, I am celebrating here this week, and you know what I'm celebrating?
What's that?
I cut the cord. I cut the cable
Yeah.
for the very first time, and I feel good about it. Now, when I say cut the cable, I mean I still have internet
Yeah.
here at the house. So yeah, I do have the cable coming into my modem and my router.
Right.
I have a great combo that I got from my brother here, and it works fantastic. But as far as all the paid services, they're gone. All right. And one of the big reasons I went ahead and did this, Daniel, and we talked about this at breakfast too. We just got over a very brutal Senate race here in Georgia. We
Yes.
had a runoff race between two candidates. And I think it was record spending on advertising.
It was
And Daniel,
nauseating.
I'll tell you what, I'm over and done with now. I mean,
Yeah.
I cannot take the political ads anymore.
Yeah.
All right. The brutality of it, the hatred,
Yep.
the mudslinging, just to say that I want to be in public office and I want to serve you.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I can't do it no more. I can't stand the commercials. I just, no. I'm done and over with. Now, for some folks who are out there RVing and have access to internet, maybe you've got Wi-Fi somewhere, the free Wi-Fi that you're picking up. My luck that I've had when I was out, Daniel, at times when I was watching TV, I wasn't anywhere near a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
So I had to use my phone as a Wi-Fi hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went ahead and upgraded my plan here not very long back, I went and made sure that I had unlimited data.
Oh, yeah.
Or data, however you want to pronounce that.
Yep.
And that cost me a little bit more. What I didn't realize at that time, is the unlimited data does not apply to your phone being used as a Wi-Fi hotspot. You have a limit there, and when that runs out, all right, then your power, your internet connection is going to be reduced dramatically.
Oh, yeah, throttling. Yeah.
Right, okay. And so I've got to reanalyze that to see, am I paying for something I really do not need? And maybe I need to go ahead and drop my cell phone coverage out a little bit more.
I was talking to my friend the other day, and evidently, I don't know if it's everywhere, but around here, she went to the library, and she checked out a hotspot from the library.
Mm-hmm.
So that's pretty interesting. I didn't know that the library provided that. So I have to look more into that, but that's an idea too.
Is this a hotspot that you can take just about anywhere you go on a subscription basis?
I don't know how it works, but she said she checked it out of the library, and I guess it goes through, one of the big providers, and, they were taking a family trip out to Texas, and, she has 2 little boys, and they were in the back on their computer, and she had the hotspot going, and it was perfect. No fighting, no nothing. She said it was great. So
well, it may very well be, but I'm sure, Daniel, and just sitting here trying to analyze this momentarily.
Yeah.
There's got to be a limit because
I don't know.
You're not going to go out there on the trip. Yeah, they can play games maybe on the way to and from wherever they're going, but once you get there, you're not going to probably have your TV set running 24/7 and be using up a lot of data.
Yeah.
And it's going to run out. There's going to be a limit. Maybe. I don't know. You have to check that out and let us know.
I just when you were talking about hotspots and everything, I just remembered that. So I'm going to have to look into that.
Maybe it is something that's worthwhile looking into.
Yeah.
And maybe it's available in other areas for some of our viewers.
I just
and
thought that
listeners.
was amazing because no one goes to the library anymore, it seems.
But Daniel, you being a postal carrier yourself, you know as well as I do, you've had political ads that you've had to deal with.
It's rough
over the past couple months.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it's more of a workload for you to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if you read any of that stuff that you deliver. You just stick it in the mailbox.
I just look at the address and the numbers, really.
But I was getting them here in my mailbox, and I mean, I can take so much of it, Daniel. And this is one of the reasons why I say that. It's got to go.
Yeah.
Because right now, even though I'm enjoying some of the free stuff, there are some free movie sites that you can go to, but you've got to sit through the advertisements.
Yep.
And those advertisements will include the political ads.
Yep.
But for myself, Daniel, and maybe I'm a little too old school. Of course, I'm always behind in the times and everything.
Uh-huh.
And I just like some of the old traditional things.
Right.
Not very often these days are people watching DVDs.
Mm-hmm.
It's a streaming world. Everybody is streaming. If they're not streaming on their iPhone or their iPad, they're streaming on their home TV.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times this is the way people bring movies in. And I'm sure at the campground, they're doing that as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right. But, at the same time, you've got all these DVDs that are sitting around. Now, I've got a great DVD collection.
Yep.
You probably will not like any of the movies that I went out and bought over the time. But
you are a horror fan.
Yeah, that I am. Okay. And it's just the way I grew up and, the family I was around.
Yeah.
And we enjoyed those scary movies back in the days.
Yep.
All right, but they're a little more scarier today, of course, with the technology and everything that they're using, computer technology and what have you. Yeah, so I still enjoy those. But here's the neat thing, and folks, if you are kind of like me and you enjoy the movies and you don't like the commercials,
mm-hmm.
DVDs are very cheap these days. You can go to your local Walmart store, and have you ever been back in the electronics section, Daniel? And they've got these monstrous bins back there
yeah.
with DVDs, right? And some of them are like $5 a piece.
Yep.
I go through them all the time, and I oftentimes come across an old classic,
Yeah.
and I go ahead and I'll buy that. But even better, because a lot of folks today are streaming and they're doing away with their DVDs. They're not just throwing them in the trash, they're donating them to Goodwill.
Yes, there's many.
So if you want even cheaper prices on DVDs, I would say go to your local Goodwill store, and that's where you can buy some.
So we were at the Goodwill last week, and we found a couple movies, and I always look on, I think it's like, can I stream it or whatever, and I see if I can stream it anywhere, if we have any of the services, and there's a couple that, you can't stream anywhere, and I bought it because that's the only way you can see it. So, it's always good to have the physical media. It's funny that, so there was another movie that I wanted to see, but I didn't want to pay to rent it, but yet I will go on eBay and pay like, $7, $8 for the actual DVD just because it's a physical copy. And it just something, I'm a younger person, I'm all into the new technology and all, but there's something about a physical copy of something that, no matter what happens, you'll always have that physical copy.
Right. And they come in very handy in situations like where you want to go camping and you've got an RV and you've got electrical service. And even if you're in a tent and you're camping at a campground, you may be at a non-primitive site where your tent is set up next to an electrical hookup, just like we were down at down south where we had a monstrous storm come in and kicked me out of there. Yeah. Okay. I had electrical service.
Yep.
I had never used it while I was there. But, if you have a little TV set and you want to bring it inside your tent, you've got a DVD player and it's raining and you've got nothing better to do.
Yep.
Bring some of those DVD collections along with you.
And a lot of the campgrounds, the Wi-Fi might be good for, checking email or something, but it's not going to be good enough to stream. But, DVDs are always there.
Yeah, and some campgrounds do have cable.
Yep,
so you can plug your cable right into your RV. I know I've got that connection on mine.
Yep.
But still, if I'm going to be watching movies on cable, I'm going to be forced to sit through the commercials.
Yep.
All right. And fortunately, right now, the political commercials are gone.
Yep.
A couple more years, we're going to go through this all over again. But, one thing I have learned, and I talked to you about this morning at breakfast, Daniel, I don't have to sit there and watch those commercials because if I am that bored, if the weather is bad, or maybe say it's nighttime and I'm having trouble falling asleep and I want to go ahead and put a movie on and doze off with that, I can put on a DVD and don't have to worry about the commercials, right? As well as I do that there are some people in our lives that are hooked on network news.
Yep.
And network news is all about politics.
Yep.
And thank heavens, Daniel, when I cut the cable, the network news is gone.
It's a little bit of an addiction.
Addiction.
Yeah.
It's a virus, Daniel.
Yeah.
It is a terrible virus that can really eat you alive if you let it.
Yeah.
All right. And I've been around people like that, and I really just need to get away.
Yeah.
And just stay away from it. I have yet to be at a campground anywhere or be around campers who insisted on talking about politics.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Good campers are not like that.
No.
They talk about their family. They talk about their gear, their rig. They talk about the places they've been.
Yep.
And they want to learn a little bit about you. Yeah, that's the type of campers that I want to be around.
Absolutely.
And that's why I always say, Daniel, if you want to meet good people, the best place to find them is going to be at a campground. Yeah, so you just can't beat that.
Well, going back to, I know we talked a little bit about DVDs and everything, but a thing that we used to do a lot when I was a kid and, there wasn't cable, there wasn't, streaming or anything like that. We used to do puzzles all the time. We were a big puzzle family. We'd have all the pieces laid out and we'd be looking around. And a lot of the rec centers at these campgrounds have puzzles. Actually, when me and Deidre went up to Mammoth Caves, we stayed at a campground. And they had a little area, and they had a TV and everything, but they also had a bunch of puzzles, and we would just do puzzles. And you forget how good it feels to find that piece and put it, right in the slot, and there's just a feeling to it. And I don't know. I love it. And another thing I used to do when I was a kid is I used to color a lot, and so that was a lot of fun. And those are the kind of things we did when it was rainy outside. And we did board games like we did Monopoly, we did Parcheesi. They were the more old school games, but like now there's so many more better games that you could be busy forever.
Yeah, and the neat thing about all of them, Daniel, is none of them are attached to a computer.
That's true.
And they're not attached to your iPhone.
Yep.
And not attached to any electronics. So you've got to put your head together. It's been a long time since I've even attempted to put together a puzzle, and I know it takes a long time for that to actually get that puzzle looking like it really needs to be.
Yeah.
All right, but if I'm going to put together a puzzle, I'm going to have to look at the forecast to make sure rain is going to be in the forecast all day long. But we're doing pretty good down here right now. I do miss the RV. I really hate the fact that, the season is down for a little bit. But I'm going to make a trip up to North Georgia here.
Okay.
The minute that I find out it's going to start snowing.
Oh, really?
Because I really want to be around the snowstorms.
Okay.
I really, in the evening hours now.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Okay, and hopefully I'm not going to check into a hotel or anything. It's,
right.
The weather's not going to be that bad.
Uh-huh.
Because I'm going to have Sadie with me.
Yeah.
But, I love shooting videos, and I like winter weather.
Yeah.
We don't get too much of it here in the South.
No, we
our
don't.
typical weather forecast when it comes to snow, maybe a half inch.
Maybe.
It'll be gone by the end of the day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay. But it's just enough to have everybody run to the store and buy out all the milk, buy out the groceries, buy out batteries. Some people go as far as to go to the home improvement center and buy a generator.
Oh, boy.
Because they're that scared.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
But I'm just hoping we'll go ahead and get through this winter season here, and before long, both of us are going to be out there camping again.
I got that new tent. I'm just itching to go out there with that thing.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll be at a campground nearby.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah,
all right.
we'll make it happen.
Yeah,
as we always do. It's time now for our featured campground of the week, right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show. Push the button, Skip. Yeah, it'll work.
Camper Radio. Happy Camper Radio.
Sometimes I can get so excited and I forget where I'm at here.
Oh, yeah.
But when you're camping, you don't care.
Nope.
In the studio, it's a different story. Anyway, Daniel, I'm from the state of Pennsylvania.
You are.
All right, and that's where we're going to take you right now.
All right.
To the Willow Bay Campground as part of the Allegheny National Forest. And I'm very familiar with the Allegheny National Forest.
Mm-hmm.
Haven't been there in years, but I remember growing up and being up there and lived there for a little bit too.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's great. Willow Bay is located within the Allegheny National Recreational Area. It's about 16 miles from Bradford, Pennsylvania, in northwestern Pennsylvania. It is primarily an accessible family campground that also offers rustic cabins, and they're available by reservation year-round. So, that's something to keep in mind. If maybe you don't have a tent, maybe you don't have an RV, but if you're up there and you just want to get away, look up this place called Willow Bay and check in with one of those rustic cabins. Now, I'll tell you, want to talk about snow, Daniel?
Yeah.
Bradford, Pennsylvania, we're not talking about inches of snow. We're talking about several feet.
Ooh.
Yeah, and you could be holed up for a long time. So, if you're going to rent a cabin, make sure there's a fireplace in there and you buy plenty of firewood. You're definitely going to need it. Okay. The facility offers modern amenities like flush toilets and showers, but also provides access to great outdoor recreational activities. Now, this time of the year, you're going to find out the primitive camping and maybe the RV camping is not going to be available. It's a seasonal thing, just like it is in many recreation.gov campgrounds. But, it's definitely one thing you want to keep in mind if you want to go rent a cabin, or maybe if you want to plan on going camping sometime when the weather is a bit nice, when the season opens, when September and October are kind of out of the forecast, but maybe March and April are in. Okay, Here's one campground you may want to consider. It is the Willow Bay Campground, and it is our featured campground of the week right here on the Happy Camper Radio Show.
Skip and Daniel on HappyCamperRadio.com.
And as always, if you have a campground you would like for us to feature on the program, we'd love to hear from you. Get in touch with me, Skip, S-K-I-P, at happycamperradio.com, or
Daniel at happycamperradio.com.
we're going to have to get Ron Swanson an email here, too, because I think the people will kind of email him a little
There
bit
you
quicker
go.
than they will us. But anyway, folks, it's always a pleasure to have you along. We enjoyed having you here. It's Happy Camper Radio, episode 245. And Daniel, it's Sunday right now. You've got things to do. I've got things to do.
Yep.
Okay, and we're going to go ahead and wrap it up right about now. But we
Yep.
got another great show right down the road. Remember, friends, every pet deserves a loving home. I want you to do exactly as I did. Visit your local shelter and adopt a pet today. Find us on the web 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. We're at www.happycamperradio.com. You can like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, and watch us in the studio do the show by subscribing to our YouTube channel. The Happy Camper Radio Show is a presentation of Skip Huber Productions. I'm Skip. I am a happy camper. Daniel is always a happy camper.
Hey.
And you better believe it, friends, we're going to make a happy camper out of you. Talk to you again real soon. You're listening to Happy Camper Radio.
Happy Camper Radio.